Let me make sure all the streams are actually working this time. I think they are. Oh, yeah. I thought so. My secondary stream wasn't running, and now it is. So for those waiting on that part, welcome. We are attempting to overcome the technical difficulties that resulted last time, that resulted in one of my streams not triggering, and me and my ignorance not double checking. But yeah, Apollo Justice Trilogy is continuing today. We finished episode 2 last time, so we're starting right into 3. What I'll do is I'll switch over to that, and we can watch the opening while I chew. Let me just make sure all the volume settings are functioning. I think that'll do it. So here we go. Like Prosecutor Gavin, maybe? And a man with the most aggressive pompadour. I'm going to read that because, eating, but additionally, too rapid fire. Just going to finish some food here, folks. Sure, all my chat things are wired. Yep. We should be good. Cheesy ramen today. Pseudo ramen. The fried and flash frozen variety. Eat it before it congeals any further. Sadly, we don't have Maya Fey here with her ramen enthusiasm, though it did seemingly spread to Phoenix. What with the salty noodle cart guy? So yeah, high quality nanotype chewing animation. Get your fill. Just about. Then we'll start. I promise. It's like there's an earpiece mic on the floor there. Something like that. Weird little object. Ember wasn't paying attention, so she didn't notice me putting a bowl down. Ember loves anything like leftover soup. All right, sorry about that, folks. Let us begin. This is so cool. Us at the Gavineers concert. The Gavineers. There's an assertion being made there. That is very much a 80s and earlier, lead singer and the rest of the band style name there. Though actually worse, because the entire name of the band is derived from the lead singer. So it's not like you even have a collective singular identity separate of the lead singer. Your entire existence is derived from the lead singer. Kind of downplays the rest of the group. I wonder if that's going to come into play in this one. I wonder if we're going to have some, jealous person getting Gavin accused of a crime. He's nice enough that we have to get rid of him very quickly as a prosecutor, Can't have that. He hasn't assaulted anyone yet. Huh? Did you say something? My ears are still ringing. The Gavineers, putting the sick back in music. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Buttons, buttons, buttons. Well, I thought Mr. Gavin was really nice, sending us those tickets at 20% off. Here's some very much not free tickets. I'll send you the bill later. That way to be simultaneously generous and vengeful after the last case, I guess. They're hard to get a hold of, I mean, they're almost a collector's item. It was a deal. It was a total steal of your money. When you invite people to a concert, it's usually free. Let's head to his dressing room, Apollo. Like we're a couple of VIPs. But we aren't. Always dreamed of being a VIP at a Gavineers show. Or is it Gaviners? I feel like Gavineers sounds cooler. Though you'd expect a double E at the end. Trucy, you didn't know who Prosecutor Gavin was before that case. What kind of fan doesn't know the lead vocalist's name? This guy, well, he was more like a prince, really. He let us in. Javier, what a lovely name. He's so dreamy. Yeah, she's got a crush. Just a bit of one. Yeah, but I'm a girl. I'm supposed to swoon over gods of rock. Spoken as somebody like looking from the outside in on the behavior. I'm supposed to. Oh, man. And after saying that, she goes full generic anime gesture. God awful, maybe. I bought all their stuff on the way home from the trial. I got 12 Gavineers albums and 15 concert videos. Are they different ones? Or did you just buy up everything at the table? that will determine what kind of obsessed she has become. That was quite a bit of impulse shopping. I got an advance on my next 15 years worth of allowance. I guess they're gonna roll with that gesture for a bit. For Mr. Wright, that sounds like a real act of generosity. Who would have imagined me here? At a Gavineers concert, watching Prosecutor Gavin, quote-unquote, rock. To be honest, he was kind of cool, and I'm kind of envious. Not that I'd ever admit that to Trucy. Ha. Let's see. Okay, so we have the police costume. The Gavineers emblem there. Also, I mean, I presume written in lipstick on the mirror. Now, either the implication is somebody that was using the dressing room did that, or somebody that entered the dressing room did that. Photos, food left out. Now, this might be a drinking bottle, like, their own custom thing, but it almost looks like they have a bit of a theme with some of these, is a red version of the Blue Badger. I know there was a pink one that, if I recall, was supposed to be the Blue Badger's wife. But this is a red one, with rocker shades. And a similar emblem is here on this bottle. Ah, you made it. Mr. Gavin, thanks so much for the tickets. And the invoice you sent along with them. Made even better that it was with an invoice. It wasn't just a you can pay me back later, like you owe me kind of thing. It was this is actually a purchase order kind of thing. Almost with the implication that you have to pay him. Because the tickets, in being sent around the time that they were sent, would imply that they were consumed almost immediately, like their worth went away in the act of sending. I wonder if it could be, if the argument could be made that as soon as they accepted the tickets in any fashion, that the invoice was due. Took possession of them. Given the legal system in this world, I think it might be an argument you could make. You were incredible up there on stage, Mr. Gavin. Nothing like music to brighten the mood after a trial, yeah. And we're almost ready for our next act. Looking forward to it myself. Glamour Man. Glamour Royer? I mean, Royer sounds right for the last syllable there, but I find the transition difficult, so Lamourroyer. The Siren of the Ballad. Oh, that's an awkward title. Oh yeah. That flyer says she flew all the way over for this show. Well, she's either gonna there's either gonna be a corpse found in her proximity, or she's gonna be a corpse. That's right. I happened to catch her show while overseas. Her voice is divine. I know I had to invite her to perform with us. Lammerroyer says, you praise me too highly. Oh, he's a dour individual. This guy, he's huge. Allow me to introduce Mr. Romain Latouche. Lammerroyer's manager and her interpreter, incidentally. It's a great honor for us to be here. And a great honor for Lammerroyer to be heard in this country. Oh, well. Very, pseudo-hieroglyph there. So we have maybe an eye, a beetle, a Hadouken. You know, it's Capcom, so I presume it's that and not your Kamehameha kind of pose. Anything else here? Like really obvious. I mean, we got some scissors there. Almost like a Christmas light looking thing here. Some sort of horned, hooved animal. That voice. I wish I could understand it. It's beautiful. Wow. Isn't she meant to be all mystical looking? It's Lammerroyer. I'm actually meeting Lammerroyer. Mysterious songstress. Her quiet, deep voice glides through the air. Lilting above a sparse but elegant piano accompaniment. Now this is music. She's a real artist. Not like that joker before. Lammerroyer says, we have long looked forward to this joint performance. Ah, Lammerroyer, your voice. It is art. Hey there, Thick. Welcome. See, my chat thing is working, so that's great. Button. So which one what, 10? How is everyone doing? And welcome. Welcome. Yet without his piano to guide me, it is but a voice. Oh. Well, if she's supposed to be, like, mysterious and mystical, he's just weird. Like, looks like a nightgown or an very old-style dress. A really gaudy neck piece. Very much clashing sunglasses. I mean, the hair is just anime. Well, thanks, Thick. Thank you. Oh, we have two kitties visible right now. We have Sky and Sammy. Sammy likes those lower platform perches. She's sitting on a little stairway leading up to that platform. I got that when I had when one of my prior cats, Tom, he was getting elderly Maine Coon. I got those to help him climb up onto some of the platforms, like that bridge in the upper right or the lower part of the cat tree there. He was a big old boy, so he was starting to have problems climbing. I've seen this kid somewhere before. He plays piano at all of Lammerroyer's concerts. He's cute, and he's a really good pianist. Good pianists are a dying breed, I hear. Him taking a dig at Phoenix. Allow me to introduce, don't know if it's Machi or Maki. Maki Tobai. Tobey? We'll go with Maki Tobey, which I will forget and mispronounce later. Again. He is blind. This is why he never strays far from Lamoureux. They are always together. They're like characters from some fairy tale. Lamoureux is so, what's that word? Exotic. Yeah, there's definitely some exoticism going on with her. And mysterious. She does seem quite pretty, at least her eyes do. For those just joining us and are unfamiliar, this is the Apollo Justice trilogy that was recently released on Steam. It's been released before, or it's been remastered before, but this is the Steam release of it. We are entering case 3, I believe. I just noticed this object, this no parking sign, does not fit the scene. So if you look, everything else has a particular, I misclicked, shading to it or softness to it. This has a very hard edge and sharper colors. So if I had to guess, this is superimposed over something that they think would be less understandable to a Western audience. That happens sometimes. It happens pretty noticeably in the Ace Attorney games. Hers is a kind of sightseeing musique. Huh? She travels the globe, putting the sights she sees into song. Okay, well. I am not a game dev. Well, I am developing a game in a crude rookie fashion. I left any of that up. Some of my prior streams, my recent streams, have included that. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I do have some other VODs that are up for that kind of thing. Seamless plug, watch my videos. But otherwise, with that kind of thing, I just notice that kind of stuff. Even though her appearance and voice are exotic, her songs remind us of something close and warm. Sights into song? That's so poetic. She was gracious enough to put music to my lyrics tonight. The Guitar's Serenade. I hope you enjoy it. Can't wait. She has become fixated with him. And now it is time. For the next part, we're giving the Gaviniers hard rock a little rest. Lamoureux, the stage is yours. We should be getting the crime soon. We already had the introduction to the location, and generally that's where the crime's going to happen. Well, bear in mind, we've just started doing GD script and the Godot engine in general, so it's bumpy as all get out, and there's lots of bash head against problem kind of stuff going on. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. I hope you enjoy it. The band members will not play during Lamoureux's ballad. Only Maki's tender tones and Lamoureux's dulcet voice. And my guitar, of course. Nights like this make it all worthwhile, you know. I should have learned to play the guitar. There's not much romance in chords of steel. That's what he calls his vocal cords. The chords of steel. In his head, to himself. And apparently in his mirror in the morning when he practices shouting. Shall we hit the stage then? Good luck, Mr. Gavin. Take care your hearts aren't stolen away, ah? Gavin is a prosecutor and a famous rock star. Those unfamiliar with the series, you generally play as a defense attorney in a almost dystopian legal system in a what is often referred to as a fusion of sort of Japan and California. I think it's like Japanifornia or something like that is how people say it. Where they have like Western stuff that they try to graft in to what is usually a very Japanese setting in the original version. But the trial system is very Japanese and carries with it a lot of the tropes and somewhat the realities of that setting. As in, if you are accused, you're in a bad way. There's a lot of presumption of guilt societally if you are actually brought to trial. And it is hyperbolized in this game to the extent where the prosecutors get away with a lot of lying and violence during court sometimes. Gavin so far is an exception, which is why I assume he's going to be bumped out of the way as prosecutor very quickly. We can't have a nice non-violent individual be a prosecutor in these games. Get back to the concert hall, Polly. We aren't going to read these, and I assume, given those opening lines, that it's kind of goofy and wobbly translated. Oh, they're blowing their 3D budget. And it reminded of the Final Fantasy VI opera as far as how they're doing the vocals. Interesting choice, I guess. I presume that wasn't intentional. Seems unintentional. With a little bit of, was it Bob Marley that did that? Hello, Sherbet. Sherbet has joined me on my on the chair headrest. Wasn't Lamoureux amazing? I even cried a little. Was surprised Prosecutor Gavin actually burned his guitar. It even surprised me, and I'm a magician. What a production. What a destruction. I don't think Prosecutor Gavin was expecting it either, oddly. He looked as surprised as I was. Is that what they call risking life and limb for art? This is a very narrative game, folks, so you don't have to, of course. Feel free to just watch and listen. But I do have plenty of time to stop and chat. I think he's my new hero. I'm not sure I'd call that art. Oh, what are we doing here? Let's get going to Mr. Gavin's dressing room. Just 20 minutes till the last part of the show. How many breaks does this band need? Hey there, fella. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting started, really. Only half an hour in. We're in case 3 of the first game of the Apollo Justice trilogy. All right, nothing in the room changed. The heck was that? Was never consulted about it. Sorry, Mr. Gavin, sir. I've asked the man in charge. I play New Rock, not Great Balls of Fire. Well, there's a reference I don't think most of the viewers will get. Goodness gracious. This is the first game of the Apollo Justice trilogy. It is one of the Ace Attorney games. They are interactive fiction, kind of a visual novel where you do more with it. You do more stuff. What it generally amounts to is light puzzles. Very light puzzles. Speaking of fire, I have a good mind to fire whoever's responsible. He seems upset. Just a little. Like I was saying, though, if you do have any other questions or whatnot, even if I'm reading, I can stop and answer. It is that kind of game. Plenty of time to talk. Apollo Justice, were you the one who tried to torch me? Hey, I didn't do it. So much for risking your life for art. The guitar serenade is ruined. 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 Let's try to talk to him at least. I'm not sure that's the best move right now. I know, especially an acoustic guitar like what he had, and the way the fire burst from the inside, that was definitely dangerous to him. Like flames were shooting out of it, so that was definitely, there was some risk. I mean, the guitar, that wasn't part of the act? Part of the act? Who'd burn up a guitar on purpose? I can't remember. Was that Bob Marley, the one that famously did that? The final part of the animation of him trying to put the guitar out was actually reminiscent of the act. All right, well, thanks for joining us either way, fella. I hope you have a good time watching, and I appreciate the compliment. But it worked really well with the lyrics just then. Burning on in my heart, fire, burn my love away, all away. Wait, you think the audience thought it was... Sounds like he got lucky. They probably thought it was part of the act. At least I did. I think a saving grace of that happening was that was like a special guest performance. And he was using an acoustic guitar, but it's a rock band, and we can see electric guitars throughout the room. He got lucky, and he didn't realize it. Anyway, that guitar was the Ferrari of guitars. All the speed, all the sound, and all the price. I can't see the first thing being a descriptor for, again, acoustic guitar. All the sound and price, I could definitely see that. Though, same with electric guitars, but with electric guitars, you'd almost presume that it would be more form, wouldn't you? I don't know enough about electric guitars to say. But since they don't have the the interior sounding space, the form of the body is less relevant, isn't it? I know, like electric violins and fiddles can sometimes just be almost a bar with strings. If you feel depressed or you need somebody to talk to, I will say that a streamer is generally not the one to go to for talking to. There are hotlines that are readily available for that kind of thing. If you do a quick search for them, one moment. Let's see here. See if we can find one that isn't a this. There are a lot of tools available for that. All right, Magi. Again, I would look into that kind of thing, and I hope you do find some help. If I burned one of those at every show, I'd go broke. Unusually frugal for a rock band. By saying that to Mr. Gavin. Chung. I probably didn't get the inflection right, but I mean, that's German. So maybe they're implying German for his accent, for his speech. They definitely are shooting for Eastern European rocker. Today's been one disaster after another. My hog won't run, my guitar case is broken. Daddy told me there'd be days like these. We're gonna have music references like crazy, I assume. That's two that I've caught so far. So, you know, daddy instead of mother. Wasn't Lamarar's song incredible? You worked on it too, right, Mr. Gavin? Ah, yes, thanks. It was a collaboration. I wrote the lyrics and she wrote the melody. You know, I was surprised she could sing in English. I'm sure she practiced a long time for this day. Ah, here. What's this? A lyric sheet. It's yours. Well, this will be important later. Yeah, this passage here, aside from the whoa, is the one where the guitar burst into flames. Thanks so much. Will I ever get to sign our client defense agreements? Almost time for the third act of the night. There's more. Yes, Lamarar's part is done. Now it's time for us to drop our groove again, yeah? Hope you're ready to catch it. Ready, Apollo? I think I'll pass. Huh? I like the bit with Lamoureur, but the rest could use a volume knob turned way down. Apollo, you're getting old. Does 22 qualify as old to a 15-year-old? It's always amusing / disheartening to figure out what people think old means. Because when people guess an age, it tends to be disconcertingly low when they think like, oh, you sound older. The old folks rest backstage, yeah? Hey, you're older than I am. Well, we're definitely going to have something happen. Another blue badger. There's one too. Over top of the guilty sticker. Hey, it's you, that right kid. Detective Sky. Let that right kid business pass. Call me Emma. There's no need for titles once you've shared a bottle of fingerprinting powder. Ah, so one of the jokes in the prior trial was that they really hammed up the fact that he didn't know it was fingerprinting powder. And they kept saying, you'll find some white powder. You'll find this powder that will make Emma cooperate with you. And it even described it initially as something that would improve Detective Sky's mood. So we are carrying that joke forward with the idea that they shared the contents of the bottle of white powder. I mean, she's really into her forensics work, just really into it. So the idea that she would partake of the fingerprinting powder potentially in that fashion is not really out of character. Sammy has now come to join me. Sherbet will come by and briefly sit on the headrest of my chair to get back scratches. And he'll lean into it. As long as I keep doing it, he'll stay there. But that'll tire my hands out pretty quick because you got to really get the fingers in there, you know? Sammy will nap on my lap for a bit. She does like getting back scratches and pets and the like during it. That will make her stay for longer. But she's less insistent about it. That's a new one. So, Emma, what are you doing here? I think she's eating cashews. Are those supposed to be cashews? No, I'm not. Uh, Generally walnuts and peanuts for me, within limitations, but those are my preferred type. Isn't it obvious? I'm snacking. You think I want to be here? Me in charge of security in this pit? So we first encountered her younger during the Phoenix Wright trilogy, and she was introduced as a forensic science enthusiast. She was in high school at the time, I believe. So she would save up and buy various implements that she helped us with. So things like luminol for finding blood, the fingerprinting mechanics, that kind of stuff. There was a lot of overemphasized use of the DS touchpad for that kind of thing. Tapping the powder out and then blowing on it through the microphone, tapping to spray the luminol. And towards the end of that, she goes to Europe to study forensic science to become a investigator. And now we find out that she returned to Japan older, um, sometime after the Ace Attorney games. And apparently, she wasn't able to join the force as a forensic investigator. She's, uh, they say detective, but it sounds like that's sort of like grunt on on the ground, not quite a patrol officer kind of thing, but not necessarily the the higher rank that we assume of detective, at least in the U.S. I watch like YouTube videos and whatnot of people talking about the game dev process, not necessarily about the like the narrative necessarily of the game, like the details of it. As far as the sort of skill set that you mentioned, toolkits like RPG Maker can actually be pretty good for that. They're very focused on the visual trappings of a game and have a lot of like pre-packaged stuff for use in that, and so are really suited for getting a story out there, a story oriented game while still having RPG game like mechanics. And then people have made plugins for it to get things like different battle systems, ARPGs, that kind of stuff. I'm using Godot because I wanted to explore an engine that wasn't necessarily as hardcore like Unreal Engine and wasn't Unity because while I dabbled in Unity a little bit before that, uh, I wasn't thrilled with how it worked for some of the integrations, and I'm definitely not interested after their contract shenanigans. Security, did something happen? There's no knowing with that glimmerous fop. She calls him glimmerous, not glamorous, as in she's saying he's sparkly in a derogatory fashion. Apparently, he's all upset because something was stolen. He wanted security back here during the concert. Where does he get off acting like he's some big rock star? He is a big rock star. The reason that Gavin returned to being a prosecutor in this is that in the tutorial trial, we actually get his brother convicted of murder, his twin brother. So he came back to find out who it was that managed to do that. So where's this door here lead to? This one? That's Lamoureux's dressing room. I don't even don't even think of going in there unless you want a piece of snack ooze in your face. Okay, so those really looked like cashews, but now she's got what looks like a little bit of jerky. Like, are those not cashews and are instead like little dried sausages? Potentially more appealing. Um, I'm not really a fan of a lot of the flavors of jerkies that are available by default, like, teriyaki and the like. I also don't like that pretty much all the flavored ones are saturated in sugar. Like, if I want a dried meat product, I don't want candy. I think ranch goes with a lot of things, though that might just be the American showing through. It's like cheese. Though that's a regional thing too. I know there are definitely places, even in the US, that you can go to where um, some places that cheese will be default on like some kind of sandwiches, and in others, the same sandwich doesn't have that. And it's kind of strange if you ask for it. She ever in a good mood? Emma. I've never seen someone eat snacks with such vehemence. Hey there, Keats. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Checking some buttons here. VTube Studio reminding me to make a backup. How you doing, Keats? Better give her a wide berth. A tonk. She snackooed me. It happens like that. I did forget to send out the notification on Twitter and on Discord. I bet I kind of had to scramble, started a little bit late today. Unintentionally, I started doing my preparations as normal and then fell wildly behind. Oh, okay, she's not going to talk to us about anything here. She just resumes munching and then smacks us with a snackoo from her bag. And hey there, Abaddon. Welcome. And it doesn't seem like a very big bag from there, but I suppose it could extend off of the camera. Like, perhaps that snack bag is like kind of like a stocking, you know? And it's just dragging on the floor. Maybe she just rolls up the top of it as she continues eating. That's how you could hear her coming, you know? The sound of her snackoo bag dragging across the floor. Just another I'm ignoring you. Yep, that's an I'm ignoring you. Is this some kind of headset earpiece? Would someone leave this in the hallway? Maybe Lamoureux's bodyguard dropped it. Emma, will you stop eating those snacks for 1 second and listen? If you think you're going to pull me away from my snacks just to hear you mumbling on and on about whatever, you're going to be sorely disappointed. At least I got her to stop munching. What's that odd-looking doll doing here? In one of the cases and in the prior Ace Attorney trilogy, this little creature shows up. That is the Blue Badger. It is the police chief very forcefully was pushing this as a mascot. Welcome back, fella. Welcome back. It even showed up in a case, like a significant element of a case. Oh, that's the Blue Badger, she says, talking with her mouth full. Could you try either talking or munching, but not both? And she hits us with another snack. She snackooed me. There's me right for going out of my way. Sorry, I don't speak snackoos. I do find it amusing how it went from just she's snacking to very, very much a particular type of snack. Okay, from the look of it, dressing room 2 is supposed to be Lamoureux's room. That's Prosecutor Gavin's, or the Gavineer's dressing room. But so much as a hand on that door and I'll snackoo you. Hold on. I just came out of there. Don't play smart with me. Huh. I mean, the things in the bag look like they could be chocolate covered. But when they showed a zoomed in one, it really looked like it was meat based. I mean, it could be like a very light brown to orangish kind of coloration or something like that, coating something. But it really looked like a sliced piece of jerky, you know? Like, not your shred type, but kind of your beef stick sort. Though, I guess, you know, if you had, like, a salted meat thing, then chocolate wouldn't be out of the question. You know, chocolate-covered bacon is a thing. So this is Lamoureux's dressing room. Even think about going in there, and a loud bang sound. Is that a gunshot? The Ace Attorney games have a nice little kind of anime look to them. On top of that, the actual like courtroom things have become sort of iconic. A crash? Something's going on. You, out of my way. Lamoureux. Not locked. I'm going in. Well, the room isn't... Oh, no, wait. The rest of the room is okay, but we have two heavy impact, like, big holes in what looks like drywall, which to me is shocking that it didn't punch right through. So, you know, you've got hammer space, which is similar to flashlight space and similar. But hammer space is the... I think that was derived from X-Files. It's the space where hammers and flashlights go when the main characters don't need them, but they produce them from. So maybe she has snackoo space, you know? Where her giant bag of snacks comes from. Maybe that's where the snacks extend into. The sort of dimensional pocket that she keeps them in when she's not munching on them. The bag just sort of extrudes out of that space whenever she needs it. Yeah, the really exaggerated poses and similar. The witness freakouts, that kind of stuff. A lot of it does come from, like, the real exaggeration of it came from, I expect, both the anime traditions and the need to really do a lot with the flat images. But because of how popular that became, because of how iconic it became, even in the later 3D-based games like the Ace Attorney Chronicles and like the Professor Layton crossover, they kept some of that flourish. They kept the really heavy animation of the characters and their exaggerated facial expressions. What's that awful noise? Oh, it's the concert. Oh. Well, I feel like panning to the right would have been the more tangible, like, important thing to be looking at, as opposed to the largely undamaged dressing room. Maybe show us the corpse first. Okay, that is a big ol' revolver. That is a very dead dude. Latouche. Oh no. Hey you. Me? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? And don't touch anything. I'll be right back. Well, she's left. Let's get to touching all the things. Really got to get our fingers into that bullet wound. Search for clues in there. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... Oh, he not dead. Eh. If that's an exit wound, he's going to be shortly dead. If that's an entry wound, it could have lodged in bone. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Shot. I was shot. No, really? Ooh, who shot you? I don't know. Ask. Ask what? Ask witness. There was a witness? Ooh. Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who is the witness? The witness is... saying siren. How can a siren witness anything? So, if you look, they effectively airbrushed out the bloodstain. They left it on the floor, but from a distance, like before we were up close, this was all blood. And they brushed that out. I wonder if, again, that was part of the westernization. That they went through and said, oh, that's not a bloody hole. That's, you know, that's just a dark spot on his coat. You know, despite the fact that there's blood all over the floor. I think this was left because we have the classic, he tried to write something. That's my guess, is that this is going to be text. And on top of that, I wonder if we're going to get the gimmick that it was written after the fact. Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? No. I'd have sworn I heard a door close. The concert's been canceled. Backup's on its way. Like, those are big impact markers. Unless there is some sort of reinforcement behind this, that would have punched through the wall, like, visibly near Emma and Apollo. Welcome back, Ethan. Welcome back. We have just encountered our murder victim. Means investigation will begin soon. Is Mr. Latouche? Oh yeah, he did. See? There's bloodstain on his back, but they scrubbed that out with gray when it zoomed in. He's dead, isn't he? That's terrible. I lost him. This is Apollo Justice. It is I think it's the 4th game in the Ace Attorney line. There have been spin-offs. But chronologically, I think it's the 4th game as far as the direct Ace Attorney ones. Visual novel stylings. Romain Latouche shot. I heard his last words. The witness is the siren. Whatever that means. So his last words are going to implicate um, Lamoureux and related individuals, but the loss of her interpreter is definitely going to be some sort of element to this because she doesn't speak presumably English, but whatever they decide the local language is. That's right, Abaddon. The last dying message of the victim is classic. Not only that you can't question the deceased further, but additionally, it brings in the reliability of the one that heard the message. So you have layers and layers. Yeah, Ethan, I haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm actually very leery of games that interact with the local OS. Been burned by that before. I've had to go in and essentially secure more of my operating system so that personal identifying information doesn't get out. Ran into that a bit with one shot, and it annoyed me so much that I've been avoiding it. Yeah, those big slug holes there should be like right here, given how much damage the wall took, and that I mean, unless they're saying like this is concrete or something, because it's drywall on the other side. Like those should have blown right through. Especially if that revolver was the thing that it was fired from. That was a big gun. Oh, this is Pompadour guy. Uh, One of the members of the Gaviniers band has a pompadour that has to be like at least a foot long, like a bullet looking thing. And given the shading on this, I think this is our man. Um, I think that the shark teeth, like that his zipper has actual teeth, is a neat touch. Games that mess with the local file system and similar things can be interesting. I can't remember if it was an urban legend or not, but if I recall, the original Dragon Quest, again, I can't remember if it was urban legend or actually worked this way, that if you got beaten by the last boss, it could delete your save. And we saw more of that in the original in the Nier games, where in the first Nier game and in the subsequent one, um, interacting with your save file happens at the end. In the first Nier, to get the final ending, it slowly burns away your save file. Like it shows it go to each section of the unlocked content and like wiping it clean. And it does. It actually wipes out your save file. And then I think in Near Automata, um there is a point in the ending credits where um you can essentially help somebody else by burning your save. Just a moment. The venue's locked down. We took names and addresses before letting the crowd go. Oof, there's a name. Hey there, AJ. Welcome. Good work, Darian. Apparently, Shark Boy's Darian. I'll let you know if I find out anything about the victim. Later. It's investigation time then. Ja, Fräulein Detective? I've played Fallout 4 for the most part. I feel like a lot of the Fallout games, starting with 3, I believe New Vegas had a heavier narrative, but at this point, New Vegas is very crashy and buggy on current PC, based on my experience. But since around that time, they have definitely the narrative has weakened a great deal because of the open world nature of the games. You don't have as much of that like strong storytelling. It's some of it's there. There are moments of heavy storytelling, but um the fact that you can enter from any angle and anybody can be killed before their or they can be killed or their narrative can be interfered with very heavily means you don't get that good Fallout storytelling that you got in 1 and 2. I don't need some rock and rolling prosecutor to tell me that. One request I must make: tell no one, on staff or otherwise, anything of this. Ooh, a gag order. Welcome back, Keats. Have you consumed too many chicken nuggets and taken on their shape there, AJ? He just shoved the infinite snack bag back all the way into snack space. The word gets out, other than that Mr. Latouche is dead. No word of the cause of death or of the murder. Tell no one, not even Lamorar? Not even her. We must keep everything under wraps. Oh, one other thing. I'll need your signature on this, hair forehead. Yours too, Fraulein. On that? An investigation request? Why just us? You two are civilians. It's standard procedure. Should be okay to sign, I think, said the lawyer. Yeah, and that's kind of an issue that's kind of an issue I have with Ethan. Now, I do play those. I tend to just give myself like all the stats and materials I have just to stomp around on a rampage, so that I can do the narratives. Yeah, that's right, Abaddon. Oh, a random document. I guess it's okay to sign this potentially without even reading it. I'll just look at the title. That'll tell me what's in it. You should always read always read a document at least once. At the very least, look through the raw content of it before signing it. Uh, any of your software terms of use, that kind of thing. Uh, they're usually not malicious. They're not making you sign away your personal possessions or something. Those wouldn't really be enforceable anyway. But sometimes they do have clauses that say they can. Those are the clauses that say they can do things like monitor your PC behavior, install really invasive anti cheat programs, those kind of things. That's where those agreements tend to come in. So even if you're going to do it anyway, being aware of what you've given them permission to do is a good idea. Anyway, game. Information concerning the crime to be restricted to police and related parties. Right, well, let's get started with the investigation. I'm on it already. And one tip for you. Huh? Me? Try not to get in the Fraulein detective's way. She's in a foul mood today. Gee, I wonder why. She likes to be a forensic investigator, but was put on, like, standard security detail. We were all questioned as witnesses. Now none of us can go home. We'll investigate, all right, our way. By touching all the stuff and pocketing key evidence. You know, the standard Phoenix Wright defense attorney way that is presented as heroic. But not villainous like the prosecutors who hide things and lie. We're just going to pocket evidence. Somehow I don't see us getting back to that crime scene anytime soon. Still can't believe I was there when it happened. In the room where it happened, the room where it happened. Not an experience I care to repeat anytime soon. This is no time for navel gazing. Let's crack this case. I worry about Trucy. She seems to have a very loose idea of what it means to be an attorney. Of course, that's not surprising considering who her father is. Once again, Phoenix didn't go to college to be an attorney. He didn't study to be an attorney. He did that as a hobby on the side. Something the matter? Now let's get cracking. The only one who was there, the only one who heard Mr. Latouse's last words. The witness is Siren. So there's the possibility that that's also distorted. And again, this is going to be their last message, like, because he's the only one that heard this. This is going to be presented as their final words. First order of business is to find out what he meant by siren. It's like an instrument case, a big instrument case. There's a great magic trick you can do with one of these. What kind? The miraculous beautiful girl escapes the case illusion. So it's the girl who's miraculous, not the escape. So picky. Illinois farmer's wife. What's this called? This is something that I want to get installed in the broadcast center of the factory. I want to be able to run some more stuff on the ceiling, get the cat cams out of reach. Okay, so we can actually look at this. So it is an earpiece. It's just of exaggerated size, as is usual. It's like some kind of future phone. Not a phone, a transceiver. It's called a headset. What's a headset doing on the floor? Wait, do you think Mr. Latouse might have been wearing it? Like one of those bodyguards? I don't think he was wearing one when we first met. The LED on this thing is lit. Must be on. That's the Blue Badger, the police mascot. Does the Blue Badger have something to do with the band? Well, yeah. The Blue Badger is the Gaviniers' mascot, too. Go figure. I hear those things fly off the shelves. I'll have to take a closer look at one someday. I'm thirsty, Apollo. Want something to drink? How about this one? A Steel Samurai soda. So Blue Badger is a reference, Steel Samurai is a reference. Now in real steel flavor. Is steel kind of like iron in flavor? Huh? Here, my treat. This isn't enough change. The machines outside are cheaper. This one is highway robbery. Concert poster for the Guilty as Charged tour. Love that name. Guilty as Charged. Seems kind of negative to me. Well, why don't we do the opposite? Magician Trucy prevents the Innocent is Charged tour. Kind of loses its impact, doesn't it? That's the Gavineer's dressing room. I've encountered water pipes that have a variety of flavors. I've encountered some with a lot of iron contamination. That sort of rusty blood flavor, you know? I've encountered some that definitely have lead contamination. Lead contamination makes the water sweet. Gold pipes. Next door. Never know where clues might be hiding, Apollo. Let's case this joint. After you, Trucy, P.I. It's like nobody's here. Prosecutor Gavin's probably busy with the case, too. No rest for the wicked. No rest for us either, Apollo. Let's get rocking. Rock, rock. Is that plastic bowl of stew sitting there? Maybe they use it for interrogating bad guys. Fess up to what you did, or we'll let you eat that stew, and we'll let you eat that stew. That's just mean. It's worse. See, if the bad guy confesses, they say, okay, eat it, if you can. See, it's made of plastic. It's like, you don't know which ones are the real bad guys. I think you need to take a deep breath, Trucy. It's a postcard of Lamoureux. These letters at the bottom. I've never seen these before. Reminiscent of, I don't know what it's called, you know, your Arabic style letters with those kind of continuing lines. But very lots of serif looking stuff. Must be her native tongue. Borginian. Borginian, huh? Just gotta check and see if we can ensure the efficiency and secrecy of our investigation. The bearer is hereby ordered to speak to no one outside the investigation concerning any details of the case. It's useful to check things because sometimes it's less about the text on it and more about what is written on the back. I appreciate that some of the later Ace Attorney games let you flip the paper over before it's a shocking reveal in the courtroom that there is something written on the back of the paper that you've had this whole time. like Gavin's motorcycle gloves. There's some pretty heavy-duty gloves. Hello, Ember. Maybe they have to carry around hot pots or something? A little thick. Couldn't even stuff a pigeon in those. That's exactly what I was thinking. That guitar, that's the legendary AA400. The Red Badger. Thought rock was supposed to be rebellious, not civic. Every aspiring guitarist wants one of these. They even paint their own guitars to look like it. Ah, the fickleness of youth. You should dye your hair badger red, too. I like my hair the way it is, thank you very much. The stubbornness of age. What's a police recruitment poster doing here? Rock on with the police. Maybe they're trying to trick kids into thinking the police are some kind of band. Ha ha, ha ha. But that's just silly. Who'd name a band the Police? Well, now you're just trying to be a little on the nose. Let's see, that would be at least our third reference that I have caught. Police uniform hangs on the stand here. Oh, I want to try it on. Nothing to see here. Move along. It's okay. You don't have to go that far to be special. I mean, you're not exactly the type who's just another face in the crowd. Hey there, demon. Yeah, having a backlog of games to finish is kind of a common thing. The advent of platforms like Steam has made that ever more common. You think so? I guess you're right, said the lady in the the, the powder blue top hat cape with jeweled brooch and red scarf. I feel like a meanie for making that insinuation. Someone drew the Gavineer's mark in lipstick here. Lipstick. I'd like to wear lipstick someday. You don't use lipstick yet, Trucy? Oh, okay. Yeah, I generally don't shoot for the 100% marker that a lot of games have. I do like finishing like mini quests and whatnot in RPGs, but a lot of times there are things lot that are part of 100%ing it that are there for the sake of consuming time. Things like finding all the little seeds in Zelda, you know? That one especially, given that the reward is essentially poop. Daddy won't let me. Not until I learn to play piano, he says. Be waiting a long time then, I'm afraid. A cruiser guitar. They sold these to commemorate 5 years of the band. Rocking it hard under the speed limit. There's a cruiser bass, a cruiser drum set, and a cruiser keyboard. Even a cruiser whistle. Not so sure about that last one. It's for blowing the whistle on criminals. I don't think that requires an actual whistle, Trucy. Anyway, oh. Place is decorated like a high school dance. Though I think our decorations were paper, not chains. Gavineers are into chains. It's part of their image. No kidding. Ever since they used chains on the cover art for Gonna Lock You Up. Really into the whole police thing, aren't they? Be cooler if they turned that red light on. They don't have to turn on the red light. Speaker looks familiar. Oh? Yeah, like the one for the PA system back in school. We have one of those in my classroom, too. That's right, she's still in junior high. You know, thinking about it, this is a bit of a running thing for the Ace Attorney games, is you have somebody that's a little over 20 with a sidekick that's about 15 years old. With a bit of romantic tension between them. Like, very light, at least. Very light. But there's over time, there's that real kind of vibe going on. Not enough to trigger the ick factor, but walking the line. I feel old. Okay, I think we've clicked all the things in here. Oh, well, it is letting us into the scene of the crime. It's you. I figured you'd come. You have to let us investigate the scene, please. You're attorneys, no? Shouldn't you wait until you have a client? Latus did tell me to ask the witness, the siren. With his dying breath, no less. Doesn't that count? Glare at me all you want. You'll get no snacks from me. Her infinite snack bag is only for her. Please, we want snacks. Bit of a Lucky Charms thing going on, you know? An inverted Trix rabbit. Think of poor Lemuroy. Oh well, I suppose. You did find the body with me. Great, let's get to it. Right. Let's try not to touch anything. You're letting us look, and she's not munching her snacks. This bodes well. There are clues here. I can feel it. Leave no hanger unhung, no spot unspotted. All right. We are going to step away for just a moment, and then we will start prodding things at the crime scene. settling back in, then we'll continue. Moved around a bit, so now all the cats are milling about. And hello then, again there, fella. I know some of them, and hey there, Noah. I think it was Noah, right? That's how you said it was pronounced? I know there are some games that will also have, like, alternate endings and the like, Demon, if you complete a bunch of key elements. Again, I'm not fond when it's got some meaningless grindy stuff, you know, like find all the coins kind of thing. You know, like a Dragon Quest where you have to find all the mini medals. But something where you have to find all of the, like, all the story bits, all of the character side quests, that kind of thing can be cool. Romain Latousse. Wasn't it? It was Lamoureux's manager and interpreter, apparently. This was his first time in the country. So I'm guessing he didn't know many people here. Doesn't seem likely. Nor can I think of anyone with a motive to murder him. Except for one person, of course. One person. Lamoureux. No one here might have had a motive, but she's from... What are you talking about? It was Emma's idea. I said nothing. Always with the snacks. He's a big man, or was. I don't think even I would win a fight with him. Which is why whoever it was used a revolver, I'm guessing. Yeah. Still. Didn't just perforate the wall, blew holes in it. Sent a request to the Borginian embassy for more info on it. Well, you and I know more about the crime than anyone. You do? That's true. It was us who found the body. What? Guess that's what I miss for watching the concert. Wish I was watching the concert. Anything would be better than this. Well, we know the crime took place during the concert. When we heard the shot, we entered the room. The killer was already gone. That doesn't make sense. You came in when you heard the shot. No one was here. How did they leave the room? So the latch is on this side, but one possibility that, of the kind we've seen before in Ace Attorney games, in a subsequent game, is the idea of maybe it was fired from here and then the gun was tossed inside. The mystery of the disappearing killer. This is a, what is it? It's closed door or closed room murder. The idea that a big part of the mystery is how it could have happened in that environment. Like, if the shots were fired from in the room and nobody but the victim was in the room, how did it happen? What a pretty brooch. Oh, Emma. You're not going to say, "Can I have it, please," are you? Oh. Look, you may be a cute little girl of 15, but that doesn't but that doesn't get you any special treatment with me. Oh. It's not healthy to envy the young, Emma. It's not about envy. It's about tampering with evidence. Note to self, Emma lacks a sense of humor. Use caution. You need to learn to respect your elders a little. Something seems so familiar about that brooch. Sort of pin fastener for attaching things to clothes. Not a safety pin type, though. So if it's not a safety pin, is it a danger pin? Suppose if you stuck it in your eye, then yeah, sure. I mean, it actually looks like it's a bit of a safety pin type. There is a clear spot that either the pin slides into, or that the pin is actually, like, attached to a big lump with a clamp over it. Even safety pins can extend the needle, you know? Exactly, but you could do that with a safety pin too, for sure. For that matter. I am from the U.S., Noah. And from many places in the U.S. Thanks for taking the fun out of my danger pin. You're driving a danger pin through my heart here. Are these bullet holes? Ah, they're speed holes. Makes the room go faster. Looks like it. There are two here in the wall. I thought there was only one gunshot. From the look of it, the victim was shot once in the shoulder. Do we have evidence of a through and through, or... First shot must have missed. There are two holes. Wouldn't that mean two misses? Murder weapon is a .45 caliber revolver. It's very powerful. Okay. Probably a through and through. But back of the shoulder, so would have had to punch through a shoulder blade, potentially. I believe what we're seeing here is the mark left by the second bullet after it passed through his shoulder. Ouch, sounds painful. No kidding. I wonder about this murder weapon. Trucy's still after that brooch, clearly. No way. You want one that bad, get your daddy to buy it for you. Daddy always says, Trucy, if you want something, go find or borrow it. Oh, and when in doubt, beg. Leave it to Mr. Right. I should be concerned about Trucy's future. But I'm more concerned about the owner of that brooch. Seeing these mirrors lined up like that makes me think I'm really in a dressing room. You are in a dressing room. This must be makeup. Never heard of most of these brands. Maybe they're Borginian? All I know is they sure don't make for much of a clue. catch everything in here. Another ladder. Actually, it's technically a step ladder. Running gag. I can't remember if somebody explained why this is a running gag. It might be one of those lost in translation things. It'd be things like, oh look, a ladder. Actually, that's a step ladder. Well, hello, Miss Fancy Pants. Please forgive my lack of ladder discrimination. Less worried about the stepladder and more worried about why it's there. Given its size, what is the differentiation between a ladder and a stepladder? Is a stepladder the kind that folds out and has two sides to it, you know? And a ladder is the type that leans against the surface? Is that the differentiation? The ladder's presence right there, there's a vent. Why is the ladder there? Well, to climb, right? To reach something on the ceiling? To point it out really hard? To show you where to look? Look up there on the ceiling? That vent under the ladder? Can you see it? Still say it's a step ladder. What's wrong, Apollo? Your mouth is catching flies. Nothing. It's nothing. Maybe that's how the killer escaped? That's what you were thinking, right? Huh? When we arrived on the scene, the killer had already fled. He or she must have had a way out. That air vent is one possibility. But it's much too small. Not if the killer were about your size, Trucy. I didn't do it. I was cutting up the dance floor at the time, thank you. I know. Of course I don't think you did it. Hard to tell with you sometimes, Apollo. Hey, what have I done? Emma's theme music playing. That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Now, that's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set is coming up. I seem to recall it being very loud and vaguely musical. Made it hard to hear Mr. Latouse's last words. Somebody had one bite of a slice of watermelon from the fruit basket. Oil is not necessary, Arda. The nano fluid accomplishes all such things. Can I eat some of this? Absolutely not. I know. But still, I yearn. Look, you're not the only one eyeing that fruit here. Well, then what are we waiting for? Let's eat. Right. Whoa, stop it. Are you too crazy? Emma, you of all people should know better. But she tempted me. She's a temptress. Please grow up. Big old TV. Beverage. Oh, look at that thing. It's huge. It's a TV. Yeah, a wide flat screen TV. I want one of those. Be wanting for a long time on your salary, Junior. Wait till you're as famous as Mr. Wright was, then dream. I don't think Daddy was ever rich, even when he was in law. Great, just stomp on my dreams, why don't you? In any event, welcome, Ardo, welcome. This poster. Let's see. This summer, a Legal Eagles production of Case Closed. Like a poster for a different show. One I wouldn't mind seeing real soon. Another Gavineers poster here. Just about sick of seeing those personally. Maybe I'll tear it down. No tampering with the crime scene, Emma. Maybe there's something else I can tear to shreds. Look at me. Oh, these presents. Lamoureux sure is popular. Wonder what's inside. We can't open them, can we? Probably not a good idea. You never know what you might find in one of these boxes. Bombs, razors, ransom notes. Could be anything. Never having a birthday party again. Look, there's a little window over here. Maybe the killer escaped through that. It's barely big enough for me to get my head through. Not to mention it only opens a crack. What? I was just saying it's possible. Right, no harm in that. Except I'm pretty sure it's impossible. You could peek into the room through it, though, you know. It's one of those things, right? At the barber's. A permanent dryer. Want me to curl those bangs of yours? No thanks. Better not mess with his hair, Emma. Part of his identity, you know. That's a body, isn't it? Sure is. The victim, no less. Let's take a closer look. Go ahead, Apollo. You first. Me? No, you should go first. Trucy, really. You two stop bickering and get over here. She's munching on snackoos again. Hope she's not too annoyed. Okay, and this time they're showing the blood. When we initially encountered him, despite it looking like he was bleeding already, when he was still alive, they brushed this out. Or didn't include the layer that is the blood over the image. Is that blood? Why don't you examine this one, Apollo? You know more about red stuff than I do, yeah? Says who? Something is strange about this blood, though. Is that what it looks like? Look at this hand. He's holding something. No touching. Throw all the snacks at me you like, Emma. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of them. You raise a good point. Bit intrigued by this scene. Let's take a look. There, he's holding something. What's this? A key ring. Purple, a heart. A guitar-shaped key. Unclear on the others. This type of key, if you look the little markings on the edge, there's a type of lock that uses the little dimples on the edge push the on the sides push the pins, as opposed to the markings here. The like, it doesn't have teeth on the key. Instead, it has the little dimples on it. Think it might belong to the killer? Certainly a possibility. What an unusual key ring, and what unusual keys. My guess is Prosecutor Gavin's going to be implicated and will be his defense. This could be a vital clue. Three keys on this heart-shaped key ring. Middle key is shaped like a guitar. Get it? This must be the key to a guitar case. A guitar case key. Bet I know who this belongs to. And the purple strap in the guitar, to me, implies Gavin. Like there might be something more to see here, since it doesn't mark it as seen. Just holding a key ring. Wonder what it could mean. This means something. Doesn't look like the kind Mr. Latouche would use. So the question is, whose key ring is it? Well, you're practically a detective there, Apollo. Practically. Glad it brings them so much joy to mock me. Yeah, so you can see right here at the top of the screen, his two forefingers there have blood on them. It's going to be that he tried to write something, and it's all smeared out. Maybe the implication will be that the killer tried to hide the message. Now, alternately, what we might find is that there will be some additional blood on his palm, where he tried to wipe out the message after the killer wrote it. Ooh, the stage. Very messy stage. Stage looks empty. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to Prosecutor Gavin. Oh well, nothing to do but to go to the crime scene, I guess. Yes. That's a big instrument case. That's a case for a contrabass, I think. You could fit 20 violins in there, I bet. They look like a violin, but it's a completely different instrument. You could fit 5 truces in there, I bet. Are you comparing me to an instrument? I wonder who left it sitting open like that. Look, a ladder. Guess they need one to work on the lights and such. Why don't they use a step ladder? I prefer step ladders, really. Is that so wrong? Not wrong, just, well, why do you prefer step ladders? They're so much more flexible than plain old ladders. I prefer my ladders rigid and stable, thank you. Oh, no. Maybe that is the distinction, that a ladder is the type that leans on a surface. To me, that kind of ladder is only as stable as the 2 feet that are on it, since those could slip left, right, or back. Whereas a step ladder only has the ability really to collapse left and right, assuming you don't exceed the weight limit for the hinge area. In which case it would collapse down, but you don't have as much room to fall, since you could tip the whole ladder left and right just as much, but you also have that tip backwards entirely, or the feet give and it slides back. This has been your ladder discussion period of the gameplay. What a big stage. It's on a whole other scale than the Wonder Bar. The Wunderbar. Ha. Lights were so bright I couldn't see the whole first part of the concert. Love to do my act on a stage like this someday. Just hold back on the lights for my eyes' sake, please. You'll be too blinded by my magic to worry about lights. Probably don't want to blind the audience if you plan on showing them magic. Wow, that piano looks so much bigger up close. Maki played so beautifully. The piano accompaniment to Lammerar's music. Yeah, looked like a real pianist. That's just silly, Apollo. How can you call someone as good as Maki a pianist? Why, that's like throwing him in the same class as Daddy. I think Mr. Wright didn't hear that one. Phoenix Wright, 7 years post being a defense attorney, after he lost his license, nominally is a pianist, but he is apparently a card shark, a fake poker player, essentially. He either wins by merit or cheats to win. Trucy watches the behavior and cards of other people for him. Look at all these electronic devices. I'm guessing they have something to do with sound. Well, I guess when we can fiddle. Let's see here. Don't touch that. Healthy curiosity is the key to a good investigation. When in doubt, fiddle. That's what Daddy always says. It should require parental testing, clearly. Talk about something different now. Hmm? Sorry, I can't comment on anything not scientifically relevant. I'm a forensic scientist, after all. A self-styled one, at least. Ah, the gun. This is the murder weapon, isn't it? This revolver. That's right, a big 45 caliber revolver. Wow. Wonder who brought this in here. Thought only police were allowed to have one of those. Why are you giving me that look? I didn't do it. I didn't... Listen, I was out in the hall eating snackoos when it happened. I know. No one here thinks you did it, Emma. It's hard to feel with you It's hard to tell with you sometimes, Apollo. What have I done? Wait, the killer brought a revolver. Must mean they had planned this from the start. That's right? Deadly high-caliber revolver. Middle of the weapon is a revolving chamber. It's where you load the bullets. Revolver, see? Revolver. That sounds a bit like Wonderbar. Especially if you say it really fast. I guess. You know what I always used to think? I used to think the closest sound to Wonderbar was one liver. There's so many words in the world, Apollo. Isn't it amazing? So many different words, so many different people. People like Trucy. They've played this gag once already with the prior gun that we worked with. Is you can look at the barrel and it zooms in at it. And the implication is that Trucy is the one holding it while it's rotated around. Don't worry, I'm an old hand with firearms. I have one that shoots, quote, bullets. I don't want it shooting any bullets, thank you. Not those bullets, silly. Mine shoots bullets. Bullets, the magic cat. A cat comes out of a gun. I can tell by your expression you've never heard of that trick. It's a great one. Honestly, that one sounds halfway interesting. So this is the murder weapon? This revolver is incredibly heavy. It's been fired twice. You can still smell the gunpowder. That's odd. What's odd? Oh, nothing. No fair, tell us. There's something about this revolver seems strange. Strange? It's just meant to be like a maker's mark. That all we needed flagged. Still more to find. Lamar's dressing room. The scene of the crime. Not supposed to go in there. But aren't we involved? Aren't we duty-bound to investigate? Sadly, no. Though the situation being what it is, now may be our best chance to do some snooping. Check the stage one more time after this. That is her I don't care about that message there. .45 caliber revolver. Very deadly. No, Apollo, I was wondering, what's a caliber? What does the 45 mean? Want me to tell you? It's the size of the barrel. Simply put, the larger the caliber, the bigger the round. The bullet, in other words. Bigger bullets do more damage. Chalk 1 point up for forensic science. You know it. It's not 45 inches, right? That'd be too big. What's the unit of measurement they use, Miss Science? Well? Hush. Kids shouldn't ask so many questions. There we go. What do you think about this revolver? Well, it's pretty big and heavy. That's right, it's a 45 caliber. Makes it one of the deadliest revolvers around. Even the police don't carry guns this big. Really? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You don't need so much firepower to kill at such close range. It's overkill. Not sure I see the problem. I mean, whenever I go out to eat curry, I order it extra spicy, just to be sure it's spicy. Of course, I can only ever eat 1 or 2 bites. And that's not a problem. It's another thing about a gun this big. It puts a lot of strain on the shooter. Strain? Yeah, say if you were to fire this revolver, the recoil would probably dislocate your shoulder. Ouch. Is that true? I don't know enough about the guns. Like the shooter's a victim too. Yet the killer used this revolver, and quite well. I'm guessing whoever did it was used to shoot it. I mean, it really seems like a, use both hands carefully kind of thing. Since it would be pretty hard to sell a firearm of that nature if everybody that pulled the trigger once had their shoulder dislocated. That's about it. I think we've looked at just about everything there is. I guess you're right. I know how you're feeling. It is hard to know when to stop. But anything more involved has to wait until the squad gets here. I suppose. I'll go report the evidence. Sorry, but could you wait here till I get back in the crime scene alone? Where I'm sure nothing will go wrong and that you won't, touch or disrupt anything. She left. What do we do, Apollo? She told us to wait. Now how am I supposed to investigate? Oh well, guess it can't be helped. Let's go. Huh? Go? Time's a-wasting, Apollo. We've got a lot of ground to cover. That's true, but on second thought, why not? I'm sure everything will be fine. Of course it will. Let's go. Clearly flag raised. Oh. Well, there was a counterpart to Trucy. And from what I recall, her father had a similar look to what she does. I can't remember if we saw the diamond motif, but that guy had heart motif. We didn't just imagine that, did we? He was wearing a silk hat. Friend of yours? Hardly. Whoever that was, he sure looked suspicious. So perhaps associate of her father. Another flag. What is it with today? problem after problem. Ain't kidding. It's the two leading members of the Gavineers, Apollo. Javier on vocals and Tarian on guitar. They're so cool. Hard time thinking of Clavier as anything but a prosecutor, honestly. What are they arguing about? Probably the case, I bet. My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted. My guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And there was that performance just now. What was that all about? Hey man, don't blame me. You're the one who missed the cue. Me? Miss a cue? How could I conceivably get the most important part of the song wrong? How? What was all that tinny playing of yours? Who are you calling tinny? Sounds like they're having a spat. Little argument. Some heated words. One of those differences in musical direction bands are always splitting up over. This is hardly the time. What are you two doing here? Hiya. We were just discussing the investigation, if you don't mind. Sorry, wait. You were what? Listen. You need to confirm that with the Republic of Virginia, Detective Crescent. Right. Anything else? What did he just call him? Detective? Greetings. Yep. How much hair product? Like... I mean, for one, he's a danger to himself and others. That's got to get caught on stuff. All the stuff. But the other... How much of the dressing room cosmetics tables has to be devoted to him? That thing would require not only hair product, but some sort of, like, internal scaffolding. Looking at it, I can't imagine, given the back of his hair right there, that it's not doing anything other than curving back around. I mean, it's theoretically possible that it point this way, but the upper surface implies that it goes out and comes back. We don't have the curl that is the standard pompadour, the almost like, you know, bushy kind of tubey looking structure. So this part needs to be dyed. Just that part to make that sort of tip of the bullet. I guess what I'm getting at is that's a production in and of itself. If you look at his animation, he's staring at it. Wait, when his eyes open. Like, pupil is there. Hello. Criminal affairs? Apollo, you really don't know anything about the Gavineers, do you? Something tells me that's about to be remedied. About the crime. Which crime do you mean? The murder, what else? Oh, that. For me, today has been a hit parade of crimes, you see. Prosecutor Gavin was singing the blues earlier, wasn't he? Something about his hog and his guitar case? Anyway, I'm afraid you know more about the killing of Mr. Latouche than I do. For now, at least. Huh? You're the one who found the body, yeah? Well, we were in the middle of a performance, no less. Aren't Aren't you going to examine the crime scene, Prosecutor Gavin? I'll leave that to Fraulein Detective. Wouldn't want to step on her toes. They're not exactly best buddies, are they? Emma and Prosecutor Gavin. What to do next? We've already checked out the scene. Prosecutor Gavin may be right. He might be the most informed for once. Maybe Prosecutor Gavin can shed some light on things we found. I don't believe you, Apollo. How can you come to this concert and not know about the Gavineers? Not surprising. Why, even our ancestors knew nothing of America's existence once. I know America exists. The Gavineers aren't just an average rock band, Apollo. Each member is connected to the police somehow. I mean, it explains their extensive police-themed accoutrement. The police? The real police? By day, they pack heat, but by night, they heat up the stage. By day, those lips interrogate. By night, they sing songs of unrequited passion. Okay. They debuted 7 years ago with 13 years Hard Time for Love. Then came Love with No Chance of Parole and My Boyfriend is the Prosecution's Witness. The list of hits goes on and on. This here's my right-hand man, Darian Crescent. I make the melodies and he attacks them with his guitar. He's a bit of a rogue, really. He's a bit of a rogue who professionally wears a shark kigurumi. I mean, again, cool because of the actual shark tooth zipper teeth. But still. No matter how fancy it is, it still looks like a onesie. I mean, I guess in theory, below the line, we could see, like, pants or something. But the rest of the outfit doesn't lend itself to that. And this guy's a bit of a perfectionist. When a performance goes the least bit wrong, he goes into this funk, just like today. I'd hope murder would be a bit more off-putting than a ruined concert. Concert today? A disaster. I'll get to the bottom of this and then we'll see who missed a cue. Gonna review all the footage and prove you wrong. The missed cue, they were arguing about that before. I love nothing more than questioning tormented artists. What's this missed cue you keep talking about? You heard it, didn't you? From the audience? Actually, I didn't notice anything. It sort of curves up a bit. It's all wobbly. And I don't think, even in an anime sense, that I have encountered anybody with a more emphatic hair phallus than this individual. He is very much not helped by the fact that he colored the tip differently. Let alone the fact that it sort of, you know, erects itself. Can you guarantee an entire audience of amateurs? No. Now take a listen to this. What's that? A mixing board. We used it to record our concert tonight. Are we supposed to be investigating a murder? Priorities, Apollo. Musical performance arguments are first and foremost. Murders come next. Well, we've come this far, might as well go all the way. Always wanted to learn about the recording industry. This is but one of the devices used in recording. We're a 5-part band. This lets us record each member's performance separately. Use the sliders to adjust the volume for each part. Check it out. So there's going to be something in one of the parts that is out of place. Neat. So could you say, hear only the drum part? Of course, that's how we'll find the criminal guilty of missing his cue tonight. I'm more concerned with the other criminal, the one who kills people. Want to help on the case? Then help me with mine. Guess rock and roll comes before prosecuting. Let's begin. First, we bring up the part of the performance in question. You simply choose the section of the song you want to hear in the uppermost bar, like so. There it is. Now listen. Was something wrong? You couldn't hear it? Listen again, closely. Timing's a little off, isn't it? I can't tell. You see? There, right at the most important part. Even an amateur can hear it. An amateur with a mixing board, maybe. Missing the point. We'll never stamp out crime until we're perfect. Perfect! Here he goes again. Don't sweat so much. Your hair will go all limp. Right, hair amateur, you will prove my point. Huh? Me? You will find the missed cue. Tell us which instrument, which part is the guilty party. But how? Did I not just explain it? Move the sliders with W and S to adjust the volume for each part. And you will find the part that hopelessly bungles the cue with A and D. You'll find it with your untrained amateur ears. Nothing to do but try, Apollo. Yes. Admit it looks kind of fun. Down, adjust the volume, left and right, select the part. Fast forward and reverse with Q and E. Once you found the guilty part, press R to point it out. Step away real quick and then we'll continue. Settling back in. All right. All right, it's part 2. This part is off. Second guitar. He looks more like a Danganronpa character than a Ace Attorney character. He really does. It was you, Darian. Well, looks like the cat's out of the bag. Or fired from the pistol, as it were. Apparently. Well, that's all you have to say? Kind of attitude lets killers walk free, Darian. Here they go again. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask about the concert. Starting to feel like we're just wasting time. It's all experience under our belts. That can't be bad. Can't get over the title for that song, Guilty Love. Check through the tracks here. Hard to perceive the bass there. If you knew anything about this, that Does it look familiar? Familiar? It's mine. That's my keyring, of course. I'm looking all over for it. What? This is yours, Mr. Gavin? I knew it. Hollow. How can you make that I knew it face? This is the keyring that was... Yeah, I know. Thanks anyway. So where did you find it? Actually, the victim was holding it. Like he was trying to keep it from the killer, even if it meant his life. What? The victim? You mean Mr. Latouche had my keys? Indeed. When will my trials be over? Shortly after your trial is over, sir. Speaking of trials, I've never heard Mr. Gavin whine in court like he has been today. I was right about the fop, I'll give her that. Hollow. Mr. Gavin, maybe we can help. Tell us about your troubles today. Really don't think that's... Tell us, and we'll keep mum about the keyring for now. Are you blackmailing me, Fraulein? Not in any provable way. You were saying something about your motorcycle not starting? And something about your guitar case being busted? You're well informed. We can hear you shouting. You mentioned it a few times. It all happened this morning. All this keyring's fault. Keyring? Got all my keys on it, yeah? My bike key, my car key, and the key to my guitar case. Wait, so this keyring... It disappeared. Thought I put it in my jacket pocket. Prosecutor Gavin's keyring disappeared? I had to come to the concert by taxi. How embarrassing. And in order to get my guitar out, I had to break the lock. This guitar wasn't the one that... The very one. Up in flames. Wow. Yeah, totally torched. Right on stage, too. Actually thought that was part of the show. Crazy. And to top it off, Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Nobody told me about days like this. Days like these. Okay, they've made that joke twice. His mother should have told him. Strange days indeed. Is Strange Days one? Or is that a reference to the same thing? What's wrong, Trucy? I was just trying to make sense of everything real quickly here. 2. There's 3 and then a 4th chunk. Could be 5. Yeah, this portion would be where the thing bursts into flames, I expect. Well, no, it would be during her performance. I wonder if we'll get to do the same thing during her performance. To make sense of everything. First, this heart-shaped keyring gets stolen. Then a very expensive guitar flares up on stage. See, in this picture, he has an earpiece. Then Mr. Latouche dies. We haven't seen him with one, but we did find one on the floor in the hallway. And could it all really be just a coincidence? Coincidence, meaning we don't have that in the court record yet. Darian, can you make any sense of all this? Hey, don't look at me. What do you think, Apollo? I mean, either Mr. Gavin's having a really bad day, or all this was planned. You aren't thinking what I think you're thinking. Are you, Fraulein? I am. What? Hey, don't leave me in the dark with Spike here. Name's Apollo, but yeah, I agree. Hey there, Max, and welcome for the third time. But you noticed a connection, Apollo? A curious connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles today? No, something was bugging me too. That keyring and the guitar and the body. Slow down there, Polly. You look a wee bit dizzy. So, his keyring goes missing, and that keyring includes his ability to get to the concert on time in a timely fashion, but also access to his guitar, which means whoever had the keyring had access to the guitar which effectively exploded later. And subsequently, the keyring shows up in the hands of the murder victim. So, yeah, he's implicated, but it also looks like there is somebody acting against him. He's bluffing. He hasn't figured it out. That's up. If you're a man, you're as clueless as I am. Huh? No, give Hair Forehead a chance. See your evidence of the connection, shall we? Evidence? Better think of something pronto. See it. What's the connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles? Let me just look at this here. Yeah. When you stole away the keys to my heart. Yeah. So, fire and a guitar, a bullet, the song lyrics. This, isn't it? A lyric sheet? The guitar's serenade? What that got to do with anything? It has everything to do with everything. Though I wouldn't have believed it if the Fraulein hadn't pointed it out. Yeah, this guy is a Danganronpa character. Oh my god. Like, hardcore. What are you talking about, man? Enough with the riddles. Maybe it is a coincidence, or perhaps it means something. Don't you think, Fraulein? I do. Everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin today is predicted in the lyrics of this song. What? No way. Look, just think about everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin. List them in the order that they occurred. While reading this lyric sheet, first the keyring was stolen. And not just any keyring, a heart-shaped keyring. That's right here. Keys, heart. Heart holding keys. Next, his guitar burst into flames. Burning on in my heart, fire burn away my love. And Mr. Latouche was killed. Bullet of love, fire. But that's crazy. Yeah, no kidding. So everything that happened today here, this song predicted it all? Or perhaps it was the other way around. The criminal could have based their crime on the lyrics. But who would go through all that trouble? Someone who moves in mysterious ways, no doubt. God took out a hit. I believe you stumbled upon something quite vital and quite annoying, Fraulein. She looks pleased. The lyrics predicting the crime, Clavier? Seems a bit more than just a coincidence to me. I have to agree. The keyring, the guitar, and the murder. The keyring might have been dropped by accident, yet the victim was holding it. Hard to think that was unconnected. It's true. Prosecutor Gavin's as calm and collected as ever. So the criminal matched their actions to the lyrics. I recall he worked on the lyrics with her. That sounds likely. Why would anyone do that? While I think about that, I'm going to get cracking on the biggest crime here. I'm going to talk to the Borginian embassy about this. About this Mr. Latouche. All right. Thanks, Darian. I'll leave the pondering of mysteries to you. I'm out of here. It's hard not to see the hair move like that and think of the cartoon boing noise, you know? Foreign national, Mr. Latouche was killed. Seems like that would have to be the point of all this. They did more than that. They left us with not only a murder, but a mystery. A murder mystery, as it were. Mr. Gavin sure is irritable today. Maybe this is the real Prosecutor Gavin we don't get to see in the courtroom. Had enough, frankly. If you find any more mysteries, do me a favor and keep them to yourselves, yeah? Yeah. Guess this is all we're going to get from Prosecutor Gavin. Leaves Lamorar to question. Prosecutor Gavin, do you know where Lamorar is now? I had her go to my dressing room. With that pianist, Maki Tobai, of course. She seemed rather shocked by Mr. Latouche's sudden passing. Gavinier's dressing room. Got it. So we have a singer who can't speak the local language, and we have a pianist who is blind. Oh, and our heart-themed magician again. Here he goes again. Who is that guy? Trucy? You know, he did look sort of familiar. So he's a friend of yours? No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember. Curiouser and curiouser. The guy with a very emphatic connection to Trucy. Lamorar. What has happened? I heard that Mr. Latouche has died. Okay, well, she supposedly needed an interpreter, and now she can speak quite clearly. Lamorar, you speak? I mean, you speak English? Ah, yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Borginia, but I am not Borginian by birth. Or, well, you know, she's multilingual. But wasn't Mr. Latouche your interpreter? Yes, well, it was Mr. Latouche's idea. He thought it would add to the mystery, you see. Then your pianist is also... No, Maki Tobai is Borginian. He does not speak English. Now please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latouche? Why did he... Actually, Mr. Latouche was... Trucy. Huh? Remember what Prosecutor Gavin said. Not a word. But Mr. Latouche is Lamorar's manager. It's not fair to her. I mean, isn't she a related party? Precisely who Prosecutor Gavin doesn't want to alert, I'd suspect. Sorry about that. All we have been told is to wait here in this room. It's very unsettling. I'm sorry, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think I could ask you some questions? Of course, I'm always willing to help. She's as calm as she looked on stage. Can't put my finger on why, but I like this Lamorar. Higgledy-piggledy. What is it, Maki? What? You'd be alone. What seems to be the problem? Maki, he's not good around strangers. He wishes to go out for a breath of fresh air. Would that be all right? Sure, of course. What is it you wish to ask me about? The Republic of Borginia. That's in Northern Europe, right? Never even heard of it. Don't worry, it's conveniently fictional. Is it? With my luck, it's not. Okay, it is. Always gotta check, you know? Started out singing at a restaurant. Then a producer called. Before I knew it, here I am. You don't say. You know, my daddy plays piano in a restaurant. Producers tend to look for talent, Trucy. Lammeror, you're not from Borginia originally? Were you born here? Well... Oh, is that supposed to be a secret? Image is everything when you're a star. I know a bit about that, of course. Yes, it is something like this. A contract, you might say. I'm also not to speak anything but Borginian in public. Image is important, I guess. She's not all image, though. Her songs are lovely. A real landscape painter in sound. A painter in what? She travels the world, turning the sights she sees into music. That's the secret to your music's beauty, right? You're very perceptive. I use your songs all the time in my stage act. I don't have to pay royalties for that, do I? Stop while you're ahead, Trucy. This landscape painter and sound, too, is an image. Yet without it, my songs would not be so widely heard. They even call you the Siren of the Ballad, right? Yes, in Borginian, Lammeror means the Siren. I fear that perhaps already I am not the Siren I once was. You're a pianist. Maki, was it? He's cute, like a porcelain doll. He's very European. What do you mean by that, Apollo? Like, what part of that character is like, oh yeah, very European? I met him while singing in restaurants in Borginia. He is an orphan, yet his playing is exquisite. Soon he came to live with me. Like a fairy tale, almost. I notice he hardly leaves your side. Yes, well, he is blind. At first I hesitated at dragging him across the world. He doesn't speak English either, does he? He had never left Borginia before we met. I made his presence part of my contract. Maki and I together are Lammeror. Together always. Mr. Latouche was my new manager. New? Yes, from 3 months ago. Around when I received Mr. Gavin's invitation to come. I met Mr. Latouche at my office. He was to be my manager and bodyguard. And, as it turned out, my interpreter. Interpreter, even though you can speak English. Yes, but we were to visit more places than just here. We had a concert in Japan scheduled after this one. Though I fear that may have been cancelled now. Have to be. Was Mr. Latouche from the Republic of Borginia too? Well, he was only with me for 3 months. I'm afraid there is much I do not know about him. And now I shall never know. No one will even tell me why he has died. I'm sorry. Prosecutor Gavin said we weren't to talk to anyone. Mr. Latouche was a talented man. The siren of the ballad. That phrase was his idea, you know. Happy for him that it was because... I'm happy for him that it has become so well known. The siren. That's what he meant. Huh? Apollo? You are the siren, right, Lamorar? That is the meaning of my name in Borginian, yes. It was the name my producer gave me. But why do you ask? It's very important. I had to know for sure if the siren was you. What do you mean, important? I'll tell you. You deserve to know. Siren. Turns out that's a very important word in this case. How? When we found Mr. Latouche, he was still alive. He says, giving away a critical element of the trial, despite the fact that he signed a paper that said don't do that. I heard him say something. His last words. He said siren, really? Was the only one there to hear it, but I'm sure that's what he said. Mr. Latouche said that? Ask the witness? And you're the siren, Lamorar. Did you see what happened? Lamorar? Might I ask, are you with the police? Well, no, I'm a defense attorney. An attorney? Yet there have been no arrests, yes? Is that a problem? Does an attorney not work for a client? If you have no client, you should leave the investigation to the police, I think. Well, that is a tone shift and a behavior shift. But Lamorar, I'm sorry, but I cannot answer your questions. I'm afraid you lack the authority to ask me. But why? If she witnessed the crime, why won't she tell us? I believe we're through here. I believe so. Check for flags. There may be something we can show her that'll... Let's try the attorney's badge. Oh, that's an I don't care. That's an I don't care. Also an I don't care. That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you? The brooch, yes. Well, it may be mine. Yours, Lamorar? I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. Must have lost it. Well, that explains the brooch we found. It was Lamorar's. Thank you. I was wondering where I dropped it. So this brooch belongs to her. That begs the question. Something wrong, Apollo? What was this brooch doing at the crime scene? I mean, the brooch she lost was found in her dressing room. Not exactly a shocking revelation. What do you think about this gun, this part of the investigation that we're not supposed to show you? There we go. Showing her the brooch was the missing flag. Who's there now? That's you. Where were you? Is something wrong? She looks grumpier than usual. You bet something's wrong. The impossible's happened. It's all your fault, you know. Maybe this is about us leaving the crime scene. What do you mean, impossible? Well, it's gone. Utterly gone. What's gone? The body, stupid. What else? Well, that's a twist. Eh? Mr. Latussa's body has disappeared. What? Prosecutor Gavin, from your vacant stare, I gather you've heard the news? I heard Mr. Latussa's body has gone missing. For yourself. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickle. Can you just stand there? We have to invent. There's no need for alarm, Fraulein Detective. All entrances and exits have been sealed. The body will not leave the building. So I suggest we go find ourselves a cadaver. There will be plenty of time to ponder the whys later. Time for a good old-fashioned corpse scavenger hunt. The list contains just one thing. One fresh corpse. Kind of, you know, Igor's part list. Seem pretty sure of yourself, Mr. Gavin. Oh, we'll find him. I'm rather enjoying this. How could Mr. Latussa's body just disappear? You heard the man. Let's get searching. Hey, I don't know if this is exactly the right time, but... Yes, Darian? See, Geeter's gone missing. It was in the dressing room. Geeter? Who's Geeter? That's what I call my guitar. You like, man? Your guitar was stolen? It hasn't been a good day for guitars or Geeters. Body first, then guitar. And if someone finds the guitar, please bring it to our dressing room. Geeter's like a missing person, not lost and found, man. Well, this sure is a... What did he call it? A sausage? No, wait, it was a pickle. And it's your pickle. I told you to stay in the room. Sorry, not much else I can say. It's alright. Top priority now, finding that body. You can make it up to me later. 10 bags or so of chocolate snackoos should do the trick nicely. Okay, it is supposed to be a chocolate-covered treat then. That really wasn't what the thing that she showed us looked like, though. Should watch your sugar intake, Emma. There should be a body here, but there's not. How could this have happened, and why? I mean, the body wouldn't be actively, like, spurting blood, but it definitely would have leaked if they'd moved it. No visibly missing guitar. Okay, some sort of scaffold has been raised. Something seemed different to you, Apollo? Something is definitely different. That stage there must have been lowered before. That's the tower that Lamroar and Prosecutor Gavin were singing on. Someone must have raised it. Don't see a way to control it from here. What about that ladder there against the wall? We could use that to take a look up top. Maybe we should get Emma. What are you talking about? We have to see this sort of thing for ourselves. Not so good with heights. Stop whining and start climbing. It didn't look that high from below, really. But when we got to the top, I felt every one of those 15 feet down. Of course, I wasn't thinking about the height anymore. Not after what we found up there. Found the two things that we were looking for. And one thing we never expected to find. The body, guitar in hand, and the pianist, Maki Tobai. Back at the office. Okay, so she has a diamond pattern. Her buttons and her brooch are diamond patterned. This picture, what I've presumed to be her actual father, has the club marking, and the guy in yellow that we keep seeing has a heart on his brooch, or a heart-shaped brooch. So we're missing the spade individual, and we don't know who the heart guy is, and we don't know the identity of the club guy either. That concert last night sure went south in a hurry. No kidding. Why did they arrest Maki? Why did they arrest Maki? Why? Don't look at me like it's my fault. Maki Tobai, the blind pianist. Arrested on suspicion of murdering Romain Latouche. I can't believe such a cute little boy would do something so horrible. I mean, I can't believe they're saying the little kid could have moved the body, for one. Like, that would have been an operation, and again, the body would have probably still been leaky at that point. Guess they had had proof of some kind. Proof could possibly prove it. Morning, Prosecutor Gavin. What a night, huh? I apologize for being so upset. Sir Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why did they arrest Maki? Why? Look at him like it's his fault either. It was tough for me too. We performed together on that night after all, yet... The powers that be said that, given the circumstances, it could only have been him. What do you mean by circumstances? Lamroar was invited from Borginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It is vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all that the powers that be want, really. Very like the first trial in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where it would be very convenient if they convicted Ryunosuke quickly. because of international reasons. Well, those are circumstances, all right. But what makes Maki the only possible suspect? Their forehead. You seem to have forgotten that you're talking to the prosecution, the enemy. Ah, right. I think I like this side of Prosecutor Gavin better, really. I'm not at liberty to discuss the particulars of the case, especially not to the defense attorney. What did you just say? Me, the defense attorney? That's what I came to tell you. He's down at the detention center. He wants to request your services. You mean Maki? Maki wants me? Is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's get going. Right. Good luck. I'm off to question Lamarar. Right. Later. I hope I'm up to this. I just don't get it. I refuse to believe a cute little kid like that could do something so terrible. You said that already. Maki, everything's going to be okay. We're here for you. Hi. Maybe you can tell me about last night. Wah 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 wah. Huh? Wah 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 wah. Was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this, in a country so far from everything he's ever known. Maybe Lamarar can help? But didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him? Good luck. Hello, Amber. Amber says I'm done toasting over on that heating pad and Sky's in my spot, so you'll have to do. Well, what are we going to do? That's a good question. Can't think of anything we can do but go with this. Hope for the best at the trial tomorrow. To be continued. Pushed a little extra time in order to get to this point. Alrighty, folks, that is on to the next part of the third case. Good times, good times. What did you think? Did you have a good time? If you did and you haven't already, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all of that goodness. It helps the algorithm determine what you like, and we'll show you more in the future. I definitely appreciate it if you would do that. Now, let's see. For the remainder of the week, tomorrow we have some more coding. I'm hoping to get some new sprites done before then so that we can start adding some explicit spawning and movement of different types of critters and the like, so that I can start putting some of that logic in there. Get the skeleton for things like when particular types of groups are supposed to appear, have those spawners take action and then go away, that kind of stuff. Then the next thing we can start doing is adding in the weaponry logic. Start getting some projectiles fired at critters in the corresponding behaviors. Then on Sunday, we're gonna start. We're gonna put our feet in the water again as far as doing some public domain book reading. We're going to be using the game The Longing as a vehicle for that. It has, as part of it, some public domain books. For those not familiar, The Longing is a game that takes 400 real days to complete. from when it starts. Um, I I can't recall. I think you can mess with the calendar to trigger it, but I'm not sure if that'll actually work or if it actually takes like real time to pass while playing the game, kind of thing. But we'll see. Either way, that's not really the point. Completing that game isn't really the point. We're looking to use the books that you can unlock in it to read. Variety of them, again, public domain. We did this before with The King in Yellow, if you want to see an example. But largely, it will be me reading a book and chatting with folks. But yeah, that's the remainder of the week. Once again, I hope you all had a good time tonight, and I hope that the rest of your night is good as well. In the interim, have a good night, everybody. Awkward endings.